Today on Stock Charts in Focus, another huge addition to ACP, our interactive advanced charting platform, saving layouts. Of course, multi-chart layouts, one of the most powerful features of ACP, up to 12 charts on the screen at once. And now with our new release, you can actually save your custom multi-chart layouts to your own account, come back to them later, keep using them in the future. So a big addition here. We're going to show you how it works, get into all of that. Plus sample layouts. We've actually just added another feature on top of that. Sample layouts in ACP makes it really easy to go ahead and get up and running with custom multi-chart layouts in just a single click. We've got predefined layouts for different groups. We're going to show you how all that works. Really powerful workflow enhancement in ACP. So it's all new. It's all here. It's Stock Charts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me here on Stock Charts in Focus, our product focus show where we dive into the site, dive into the tools and the features, make sure that you're aware of everything that's going on around stock charts so that you're getting the most value out of stock charts that you possibly can. My name is Grayson Roze. I'm your host for today's show, and I'm the Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. It's a thrill to be with you, especially on a week like this when we get to cover an exciting new addition to the site. The team just rolled out a big new release in ACP, our interactive advanced charting platform. Like we talked about there in the intro, saving layouts. Multi-chart layouts have been one of the most powerful and well-received features of ACP. A lot of excitement around this. You can create multi-chart layouts in ACP with up to 12 charts on the screen at once. And with the latest release, you can now save those to your account, come back to them later for future use. So it's an incredibly powerful tool, creating these visualizations, sort of custom visualizations for the way that you approach the market. And with the ability now to save those layouts, it makes it even faster, even more efficient, even better for you. So we're going to show you how it works. We're going to dive into layouts overall, show you how those work. But also we're going to talk about sample layouts. This is another thing that we've just added as part of this saving layouts feature. You now have the ability to look through a list of predefined groups, saved layouts that we have created ourselves, which makes it really easy to get up and running with some great layouts. You can use them as is, or use them as a bit of an inspiration to go and create your own multi-chart layout. So we'll show you how all that works, saved layouts, sample layouts, lots to cover in today's show. So let's get right to it. So here we are on the dashboard, of course, the first page that you see when you log into Stock Charts. And I am going to go up here to the Create a Chart bar at the top of the screen. I've made sure that ACP is selected, and I'm going to go ahead and type in a ticker symbol to launch ACP. So here we go. Here we are now in ACP, our full screen interactive advanced charting platform. We've done a lot of tutorials on ACP. There's a lot to learn here, a lot to cover. But to note right now, it's a very dynamic, fluid experience. You can drag indicators around, move things around your chart up and down, scroll through time, zoom, all of that good stuff. So a very interactive experience that we've built here in ACP. A lot to cover. We're going to save that for another show. But if you're new to ACP, there is a lot to explore here. So definitely make sure after the show that you go check it out. You can visit stockcharts.com/ACP to launch the platform right away, or look for the different links around the site. Look for, like we were showing there, that menu at the top of any page around stock charts to type in a ticker symbol and get over to ACP. Now, of course, what we're going to cover today is multi-chart layouts. So over here on the left side of the screen, you'll notice there's a little new tab, which is for the layouts panel. So when I click that, you'll see a new view here on the left side of your screen, which is the layouts panel. This is how you create and save custom multi-chart layout. So we're going to dive into each component of this, but before we do that, I want to make sure that you're aware of how to create layouts. There are a couple of different ways that you can do that, and I want to make sure that you're aware of some of the features included with these saved layouts, because there are some pretty cool things that you can do with them. So you'll notice that I have just one chart up on the screen. A couple of different ways that I can go ahead and create multi-chart layouts. First one, I'm going to close this down here. First one is this create layout box on the layouts panel. So if you're over there on the left side of the screen, you open up the layouts panel. Again, look for that sort of little grid icon. Open that up. You can use this create layout menu to quickly view different orientations that you can sort of build in ACP. So you select the number of charts that you want to put up on the screen. Let's say you wanted a 5-chart layout, and you get a bunch of different orientations that you can choose from. So now to create any of these, all you got to do is give it a quick click. So if I click that, you'll notice that I now get 5 charts up on the screen all at once. And these are full featured charts. Anything that you can do with any chart in ACP, you can do with any of these. So each one is still dynamic, very fluid. You can still do the same sort of drag and drop features that you can in any other ACP chart. They are full ACP charts. So cutting no corners there. It makes it really easy though to see sort of different options for what you can create all the way up to 12 charts on the screen. And so for each one, you get different options for different layouts that you can create. For instance, here's a 10 chart layout. Lots and lots and lots that you can do with these different layouts. Now, there are a couple other ways though to create layouts. So before we dive into the saving feature and everything, I'm going to go back to 1. I'm going to click that, and here we are. We're back to our single chart view. So if I close this down, let's say I launched ACP and I just have 1 chart up on the screen. If I want to quickly add another chart, there are a couple ways to do that with the menu up here at the top of the screen. So you'll notice there's a little plus icon. You can always click that plus icon to add another chart to your screen. So you'll see right there, all I had to do, give it a quick click, and I'm going to add another chart. Now, these are just going to sort of add in whatever the default layout for that number of charts on the screen is. So for instance, when you have 3 charts on the screen, this is sort of the default, the go-to. But you can quickly add these other charts to your screen like that, and then pop over to the layouts panel and select from different orientations for that number of charts on the screen. So that's another quick way to create layouts. Use that little plus icon on the screen. But the other way to do it, if we close these down here, we'll get back to our single chart view. The other way to do it is actually to enter a list of ticker symbols that you want to see on the screen in the symbol entry box. So up here at the top of the screen, let's say I wanted Facebook, Apple, Netflix, and Google. We'll put some of those names up on the screen. So you notice that what I did was I entered that list of ticker symbols and I separated each symbol with a comma. So I've got 4 symbols here, each one separated with a comma. And when I click enter, what's going to happen is I get 4 charts up on my screen, the exact same that I entered into that list separated by a comma. So another quick way to create layouts with a specific list of symbols that you want to see is to use that symbol entry box and separate them with a comma. Separate each symbol with a comma, and that's going to load however many symbols you type in onto the screen. Again, you can view up to 12 charts on the screen. So if you want to type in a list of 12 ticker symbols here, each one separated by a comma, we will automatically load in a 12 chart view of those symbols. So another quick and easy way to create your layouts just like that. Now, one of the other ways though that you can create these layouts, when you sort of pull one up, let's say you've got this view on the screen. If you've got saved charts in a chart list in ACP, which you can access over here on the top right, any of these charts, you can save those into custom lists in your account. We call those chart lists here at StockCharts. So when you save any of these, any of your charts into a chart list, an ACP chart list, you'll notice, for instance, I've got a list of symbols over here on the right. You can always load any of these into your layout. So if I want to view, let's say, alarm.com, I can just click that, and now I get a chart of alarm.com. I can switch through these. I can actually use the arrow keys to move through these symbols. So a lot that you can do here. You'll notice that the active chart highlights there in blue, so it makes it sort of easy to see where you are in your list. Now, 2 little tricks to this though. If I wanted to add a couple of these charts, I don't want to actually sort of pull one into this quadrant. I want to actually add these as additional charts to my layout. What you can do is hold down Shift and click on the symbol in the list. And when you hold down Shift, we're actually going to add that chart to the screen instead of replacing whatever the active chart that you're viewing is. So you'll notice that's actually another quick way to create layouts. You can come over to your chart lists or really any of these lists in the screen, the market movers, any of those kinds of things, the market summary, all of those are sort of shift clickable, if you will. You can come over to any of those lists, hold down Shift and click on the symbol to get another chart added to the screen. So again, that applies to all of these, not just your chart list. So another quick and easy way to create custom layouts. Now, a couple of final things to note before we get into saving and sample layouts. One thing that I want to make sure you're aware of is the controls that you have for maximizing and minimizing a chart within a layout. So you'll notice that the active chart, what we call the active chart, is going to have a green box around it. That's going to indicate that that is sort of the chart that you're working on. That is the actively selected chart. As you click over to different charts around the screen, you'll notice that that green box moves. Now, within the active chart, when you're hovered over it, you have the ability to maximize that chart. So let's say you had a little bit more of a complex chart here. I'm going to do sort of my daily default style. And you'll notice that when I have this chart up on the screen and it's in a multi-chart layout, a lot of the indicators kind of get crunched. For instance, the scooter down here gets pretty pinched onto the screen, pretty hard to view. Now, if I want to just blow that up and see sort of a full view of it, but I don't want to go back to a one chart layout and then come back to my layout, I don't want to have to bounce around, we have a maximize chart feature. So when you're hovered over this chart, there's a row of buttons here at the bottom, and a fourth button is going to be added when you have multiple charts on the screen. That's going to be the maximize button. So when you give that a click, we're going to take, you'll notice that that green highlight is now around the entire screen. We are going to take that chart, sort of blow it up within ACP and make it take over the full screen. Now I can see everything on this chart, and this is still full featured. I can still zoom through time, all of that good stuff. I can move around and move indicators up and down. Anything that I can do with an ACP chart, I can still do here in maximized mode. And then when I'm done and I want to sort of go back to my layout, all I got to do is close it back down and it goes right back down. So it's a great way if you have multiple charts up on the screen in a layout, you sort of want to zoom into one, get a more detailed view, and then go back to the layout. This is a great way to do it. So remember that you do have that maximize chart function from all the charts in the layout. And actually, if you hover over any of the charts, you can get that. It's not just on the active chart. Two other quick things to note. Over here in the layouts panel on the left, we do have a multi-chart settings block. Now, this is going to do a couple of things. You do have these checkboxes for applying the color scheme of the active chart or the chart style of the active chart to all of the charts on the screen at once. So for instance, if I click chart style, I apply that to all, and then I come over here to my chart styles block and I click, for instance, weekly. You'll notice that now all of the charts on the screen change to use that exact same chart style. So this is a quick way to sort of apply something to the entire screen. Let's say I wanted to get it back down to just sort of that basic view with the price chart and the price relative. This is a quick way to do that. I can turn on apply to all either from the chart styles panel or from the layouts panel. And you can do a very similar thing with color scheme, sort of keep your charts in sync by applying the same color scheme or the same chart style to all of the charts on the screen. Symbol sync is an important one because this is going to be what allows you to do things like gallery view, for instance, which is how you view sort of the same symbol in different time frames. So we're going to cover that in just a minute on our sample layouts talk. But let's say I added another chart to the screen and it's going to be Apple. So you notice that now I have two charts of Apple up on this screen. When I turn symbol sync on, any chart that has the same symbol as the active chart, so again, this bottom one has that green highlight, so that's sort of the active chart on the screen. Anything that has the same symbol as the active chart is going to change when I change the symbol of the active chart. So it's easy to show you how this works. Let's say I change this to Qualcomm. So I've got my Apple chart selected here, and I have another Apple chart you'll notice up at the top of the screen. So when I go ahead and change this active chart down here to be Qualcomm, I type that in. Now both of those charts are going to change because I've turned on symbol sync. So this is great when you've got, let's say, 4 charts on the screen and you want to do, or 2 charts actually. Here's a good way to use this. Let's say I changed this one to be my daily chart. So I've got a daily view of Qualcomm, and I changed this one to be a weekly view of Qualcomm. Now, if I go back to layouts, I've got symbol sync options, symbol sync optioned on. And so when I change the symbol, it's going to change both charts. So I've got Microsoft now here, and it gets applied to sort of both views. So symbol sync is a good way to sort of keep multiple charts in sync. When you change the ticker symbol on one, you don't have to go and change all of them. So a couple of different options there to note. So now that you've had a chance to see how to create your layouts, let's talk about the meat of today's show, saving layouts. Now, the funny part is this is actually the easiest part of everything that we've done. So right now up on the screen, I've created a 5-chart layout. And let's say I wanted to save this because I want to come back to it later. I want to create this as sort of a template that I can use, come back to it later, fill it in with different symbols. I like this 5-chart view, and I want to sort of save it to my account for future use. All I've got to do is come over to the left side of the screen, the layouts panel, look for the big green button at the bottom of the panel, click Save Layout, enter name, and I am off to the races. So it really is that easy. You create your layout, and then all you got to do is come over here and click Save. Now, one thing to note as I show you how this works, the naming convention that I've sort of come up with in my account that I'm using is to list out the number of charts in the layout. So in this case, 5. Then I give it a dash, and I'm going to do 5-chart layout, something simple like that. I click Save, and there we go. Now at the top of that layouts panel, you'll see I have a list actually of all of my saved layouts. So this is where they show up in the Your Layouts menu under that panel. So you see that the one that we just saved, that 5-chart layout, is right there. And you can see that naming convention, kind of why I think it makes sense, for me at least. I've got a bunch of different layouts in here for 2 stocks, 2 charts, 4 charts, 5, 6, even a 10-chart layout. And so I like to sort of list out how many are in the layout that I've saved. So that is working well for me. You could also, just put it in the name, anything that you want to do there. It's really easy though to edit these. So you can click the little pencil icon that appears when you hover over it. Let's say I wanted to change this to be 5 stock layout. I do that, edit that, click Save, and there we go. Now it's listed as 5 stock layout instead of 5 chart layout. You can delete layouts here with this little icon, but it really is as simple as that. Now, the interesting thing, I'm going to go and click Apply to All on the chart style. Let's say I wanted a different chart in here. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to use my weekly chart, for instance. So now this is quite a lot on the screen. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this Bollinger Bands. Let's say I wanted to make this Bollinger Bands view, and I wanted to come back over here, and I wanted to update that 5 stock layout with these charts instead of the one that I had before. Well, super simple. You click Save Layout at the bottom, make sure that you select Update Existing, and then you just select the one from the list that you want to change. So you notice that I've got my 5 stock layout in there right now. So I select that, hit save, and now I've updated that layout with this new chart style. So if I click off here, I'll close some of these down to make this really obvious. Let's say I'm over here, I've got some other stuff on the screen. I want to get to that 5 stock layout really quick. All I got to do, come over here, click 5 stock layout, and there we go. I've got that layout up on the screen. Nice and easy. And now I can go in here and I can type in a list of ticker symbols. Google, let's do Amazon, and we'll keep our square chart in there. I can type in a list of ticker symbols and update that right away. So it's really easy to save these layouts, come back to them, and they sort of become templates for future use. Now, one of the other things that we've added as part of this latest release is what we're calling sample layouts. We want to make it as easy as possible to get up and running with multi-chart layouts in ACP. So we've gone ahead and created sample layouts that make it easy to do that. In a single click, you can pull up big, beautiful layouts that are predefined for you, and they make it really easy to sort of get started with layouts in ACP. So let's take a look at how that works. Over here on the left side of the screen, below the Your Layouts menu, you can see I've closed down some of the other groups. There's a group though called Sample Layouts. When we open that up, you can see what we have here for you. Again, these work very similar. All you got to do is click any of them, just like Your Layouts. They work very similar to Your Layouts. Click any of them and they're going to automatically get loaded up on the screen for you. So all of these are available as part of ACP for you out of the box. All you got to do is give any of them a click. Let's see how some of these work. For instance, here is Gallery View. So Gallery View is an interesting tool outside of ACP. It's one of our standalone Sharp Charts tools that allows you to see the same symbol but in multiple time frames. So what we have here on the screen is 4 charts of Microsoft. This one is an intraday 1-minute chart. We have a daily chart, a weekly chart, and then a monthly chart. So 4 different time frames for Microsoft all on the screen at once. When we combine this with that symbol sync option that we were looking at earlier, you turn on symbol sync, and now anytime you change the symbol, it's going to change all 4 of those Microsoft charts. So now we've got Apple in those 4 different time frames. We can change this to Square in those 4 different time frames. It's really easy to flip through charts and sort of create a gallery view equivalent here in ACP with our gallery view sample layout. Now, the interesting thing is that you can use this as is. You can bring this into your own workflow, use these charts, or you can use this as kind of an inspiration. Start here, customize these charts, and then save this as your own gallery view layout. If you wanted to add different indicators, add different overlays, change the moving averages, change the color schemes, anything that you want to do with this, you can sort of use this as a starting place. You know, let's say I came over here and I on the intraday chart, let's say I didn't want the VWAP, I just wanted basic price action. Well, now you can come over, you can hit save layout down at the bottom and save this as 04 gallery view. Let's make it my gallery view. Save that as a layout, and now I've sort of taken that as an inspiration and made it my own. So again, you know, a lot of these sample layouts are great as is, or you can take them, really make them your own and use them as kind of a starting place. We've done a similar thing here with Candle Glance. Again, another Sharp Charts tool outside of ACP that allows you to view multiple sort of mini charts on the screen all at once. Well, we've gone ahead and created a sample layout for you in ACP that's got 12 charts on the screen, pretty simple little charts. But this is a great starting place. So you can now fill in this sample layout with your own symbols. You can go in here and change anything that you want. I'm going to turn off symbol sync so we don't get 12 of the same ones. But you know, you can go in and type in a list of ticker symbols. That's one way to do it. Start to change the charts on the screen. Or maybe you want to go over here to the market movers. For instance, I've got the S&P 400 pulled up. Here are the most active stocks in the S&P 400, the mid-cap group. I can start to click into these and change the symbols on the screen really easily. So, you know, this is sort of, again, a great starting place for you. Use it as is, or save it as your own custom layout. Start to modify the settings here of this sort of gallery view, or sorry, excuse me, Candle Glance equivalent in ACP. The other thing that we've done, though, as part of this sample layouts edition is predefined groups. So, for instance, we've got a major market indexes view that includes 4 of the major US indexes all on one view, and sort of a nice, simple chart template for that. You know, again, this is a great use of that maximize chart feature. I like to come into this major market indexes group and then sort of blow up each one of these, get a more of a full featured view, and then scrunch it back down, go over to the next one, and sort of rinse and repeat there. But the interesting thing to note about these different predefined groups is that these actually do include symbols. We've hard-coded a few symbols into these different predefined groups. So for instance, for the major market indexes one, we've hard-coded in here this list of ticker symbols. We've done something very similar, for instance, for the US sector ETFs. We've got SPY and then the other all the 11 sector ETFs here in one view. And so this makes it really easy to come over here and get sort of a US sector ETFs view as with this predefined sample layout. Makes it really easy to see all those things. We've done a lot of them. Market cap tiers. Here's large caps, mid caps, small caps, and micro caps all on one screen. One of my favorites, I teased this in last week's episode of the show, the intermarket view. This is a pretty cool one. So here we take a lot of the sort of the major markets, things like stocks, bonds, gold, oil, commodities, and the dollar. We put those all on sort of one perf chart-like view. So this gives you a performance view. We can, for instance, go for the last year. We can see what's been leading, what's been lagging. We can see here stocks are actually the top performer. They've recently moved past gold, which was. So this is sort of the classic intermarket view based on John Murphy's work. And then we've got a couple of ratios over here on the right side of the screen. We have how bonds are performing versus stocks, how gold is performing versus stocks, how commodities are performing versus stocks. So again, you can modify this, sort of create your own intermarket dashboard, or come over here just to the predefined groups, hit intermarket analysis, and you're going to get that sample layout right there, and you can use that in your own workflow. So lots and lots of different options in here. Two other ones just to cover really quick. We do have a cryptocurrencies view, which is pretty interesting. So a nice dark theme charts here of the some of the major cryptocurrencies that are trading out there. So that's another one that you can customize or use as is. I love this theme. I think this is a pretty cool chart theme. And the final one that I'm really enjoying is scooter leaders. So this is actually even more interesting. It's a bit of a dynamic view. So we are dynamically going out and saying, for the US large cap, mid cap, small cap, and ETF groups of the scooter, the StockCharts technical rank, what are the leaders from each group? And then we plug that into this layout. And so as those scooter leaders change, this layout is actually going to change. The symbols on it are going to change. So this is a quick way to sort of get a scooter leaders view and actually come over here, and you can click this at any point and get a view of what's sort of leading across those different scooter groups. So lots of different predefined groups to play with, to build off of. Again, use these as sort of a starting place and inspiration for yourself. Build your own. And we're going to continue to evolve this list over time. So look for more predefined groups, more predefined sample layouts. We're always going to be evolving this list. So I'm really excited to see where it goes and to hear your feedback on other predefined groups that you'd love to see as part of that list. We are all ears. So lots and lots to play with. The interesting thing is that saving layouts is actually the simplest feature of layouts. There's so much more to learn there. That's why we spent the bulk of the show actually covering how layouts work. So we will continue to evolve layouts for you. Of course, this is going to be the place to hear about it on StockCharts In Focus. But there's a ton to play with right now. So definitely go check this out in ACP. Go explore those sample layouts. I think you'll find it really, really helpful to get up and running with layouts quickly and easily. And then start saving your own. You can save your own custom layouts to ACP, return to those in the future, and really kind of streamline your multi-chart workflow there in ACP. So I know we covered a ton on today's show. It really was a packed episode, but hopefully you got a lot out of it. Hopefully you saw a lot, maybe even learned some new things about how our multi-chart layouts feature works in ACP. Of course, now with the ability to save those layouts, it's more powerful than ever. And we will have more coming soon. We're going to be bringing out the ability to save symbols to specific layouts. And we're going to continue to evolve all of the sync capabilities, syncing range and period, lots of good stuff. So lots more coming to layouts very soon. But for now, go play around with this, start saving your own layouts, and really dive into this multi-chart layout capability in ACP. I think it's really one of the things that makes ACP really pretty special, having these sort of custom dashboards that you can build for yourself there in the platform, and to have the data on the right side too, and to be able to pull in those symbols from the market movers and the market summary and from your chart lists and everything. It really does make it a pretty powerful feature. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, my name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of StockCharts In Focus. Remember, we do this every Friday, our product focus show. We're really diving into the site and the tools and the features and everything that's here. So join me every Friday. We do this on StockCharts TV, or you can find it on our YouTube channel, but 3:30 p.m. Eastern time every Friday on StockCharts TV, new episodes coming out of StockCharts In Focus. So look for that every week, and I will see you again for the next one very, very soon. Until then, thank you again for joining me. Chart on, my friends.
Hey, Grayson Roze here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're gonna bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.